I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution.
I haven't seen the sun in a fucking week and a half. Hey, look! It just came out! Hey, look at that!
I love it!
Thing, huh?
And we're live for another episode of After Hours with the Whack Pack. And speaking of the Whack Pack, I got them on hold here. We got John Romano and the crew. What's up, guys?
What's up?
We were just arguing with John before the start of the show. They were saying that you should dye. One person said you should dye your beard. One said you shouldn't. My sister said you should shave it. What's the verdict?
I'm going to probably leave it alone.
That's all.
I bet you'll shave it when it gets warmer.
It looks good, but it makes you look older. I bet you if you either dyed it or you shaved it, you'd probably look like you were in your 40s. You know.
The problem,
a
problem is that I'm so lean right now that these lines in my face are like really deep. And
that's cool though. I think that looks cool.
Dave has it deep as shit.
Yeah, I like it.
Mine are like really.
I like that. I call it the Ronnie Coleman, Dorian Yates sucked up face look. You know.
Don't you feel like when it's that thick, John, it's hard to moisturize it though? Even though no matter what you do, it's hard to moisturize your face.
I never moisturize my face, so
because of the beard.
You know, John. Speaking of face, you know, I was talking to someone who's into doing they do Botox and they do the injections of the fillers. Do you know that there's actually something you can inject into your face to make the filler dissolve? Like if you put too much in one area.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a hyaluronic. I don't know if it's hyaluronic acid or something like that. You know.
Yeah, it is.
You've heard of that, Armand?
Yeah, I had a lot of girls. My friend's a plastic surgeon, and so is one of my other girlfriends. She owns a spa, and yeah, they overfill faces, and then it depends what it is. Some like products you can't use it; they're permanent. But the non-permanent ones you can dissolve them. I think that's what the girl from Friends did. What's her name?
Jennifer?
Lisa Kudrow?
Lisa?
No, the dark hair one. The dark hair one.
Courtney Cox.
Yeah, so she dissolved all the ones in her face. She was looking really bad, and then she looked great once she just looked aged. It looked good on her.
I don't mind. Even with women, I think it looks good when they have a little bit of character lines as they get older. You know, especially if they were pretty to begin with. You know what I mean? The pretty ones always stay pretty. You know,
they're just overfilling their lips way too much now. It's just it looks weird. It's like they have great lips and they fill it till it's where they get that like shade. It's like the mustache shade where it kind of looks like a mustache because the lip right there is so overfilled.
It turns out like this, right?
It turns out, I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like that either.
Guys like it. I don't know one guy that likes it. It's only the girls that like it.
The guys like it because
that she had something in her lips. I don't know what the hell it was, but they felt like rubber.
Yeah.
Like they were swollen up so big. It was weird.
Don't kiss them.
Guys aren't a fan of it.
Nah,
no.
You know what it is? It's
The
overdone.
skin on your lips is the same as the skin on your ass.
Well, that's why ass lips.
What is it?
That's why your ass lips.
George, when you're ready, tell us. I'm removing you.
Kiss a girl that has nice lips, you may want to take that into consideration.
Boy, George.
Wait, I want to call attention to an improvement we've made around here.
By the way, we have a new sponsor. And if you guys would like some clothing, I'm going to have them send it to you. House of Pain. You know,
I've been wearing House of Pain forever.
They got new stuff. You know, I never wear white shirts, but they sent me this. I love this white shirt.
Anything they've sent me, I've worn religiously until it disintegrates.
They said I love sweatshirts, hooded sweatshirts, and it's cold here in Florida, so I'm going to be wearing my House of Pain now sweatshirt too around town. So thank you, House of Pain. Thank you for coming on as a sponsor. We'll have some commercials for them probably by the next show. And Joe is a great guy. You know Joe too, also John.
Yeah, they've sent me tons of stuff over here. I love
He's committed. He's going to be sponsoring us every month now in the show over here. So, if you guys send me your addresses after the show, I'll get you some clothing.
So is that what led to Greg improving his background? Is that we have a new sponsor?
I was going to say, Greg, what is with that?
That shit is just a folding thing, it's gonna. It falls on my head. My girlfriend put that there.
It looks like one of those Japanese, those room dividers.
That's it. You know where chicks get dressed behind it and then they throw the clothes over.
You want to hear something funny? I had a friend. He was Indian growing up, and he had those in his house. He had a very pretty house, and we would all hang out there on the weekends because his parents just let us do whatever we want. And I used to have wrestling matches, and stuff like that. And I threw one of my friends. We went through the screen, flying through. It looked like a scene in a movie or in a Quentin Tarantino movie. I felt so bad.
It's probably not very hard. That whole thing probably weighs 3 pounds.
No, my father would have gotten nuts. His parents were so nice about it too. I felt terrible.
If you try to go through this one, you'll hit the wall behind it. Metal hole to fix. I'd have a big freaking.
Mr. G, you look like a 90-year-old person eating. What are you eating?
I'm eating a protein pretzel.
Well, he doesn't have enough teeth to chew it. That's the problem. He's got
no. I took too big of a beat. I got tons of fees.
He was making believe he was his brother for a minute.
Talking to House of Pain, I just got out of the water. I got good waves here.
Yeah. Did you get stung by anything?
I got stung by. I think I got stung by a man of war. The last time I saw him.
You were telling me that. Yeah, that's why I was asking.
I felt like an electrical shock. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Oh,
maybe it's electric eel.
Not in those waters. That avoid, George.
I'm not allergic to them, but some people that are, they're going to get rashes all up and down. But every time we get a cold in here in Florida, cold front, it's in high 50s, that means there's going to be good waves.
George, don't they tell you, I'm not joking around, don't they tell you to pee, if you pee on the wound and shit, that'll no, I think
the water would be better.
Supposed to relieve it.
I got stung by a stingray one time in Costa Rica, and the guy told me, pee on it, and let's take it away.
Thank you.
I thought it was a jellyfish.
Hold on. Did you pee on it?
No,
of course.
I just grinned and
No, I'm talking to John. I was asking John.
Of course I peed on it. Of course.
George, you're my friend. And for you, if you got stung, I'd be there for you. I'd pee on it. I'd pee on it for you.
Greg.
I wouldn't pee on you, Greg, because you probably like it too much.
The lifeguards have a special kit. So I saw the other day some girl in a bikini running up, probably like 20 years old, the bikini, and she ran up and the lifeguard had a kit, and he was, put with I guess alcohol on it or something. I don't know what he was doing, but it was like a scene out of Baywatch.
Baywatch.
I mean, that's really what it was. Who doesn't like Mitch? Yes, I am Mitch.
You're in therapy. He's true. He's right.
If you throw vinegar on there too, I know that vinegar supposedly neutralized that right away.
This guy's right. This guy senses a new supplement line.
Urine is 100% clean is 100% right.
That is true. It's sterile when it comes out if you don't have an infection. Yeah.
What's that, vinegar or urine you're talking about?
Urine.
I know guys who have gone were stranded in the wilderness who drank their pee to
you could drink it twice.
I don't know if that would help. Too much salt in it.
Die otherwise.
I drink.
Yeah, it does help. I've heard the stories and the science behind it also. Yeah.
Guile Bears, that guy, he did that. He took a snake, he pulled its skin off, he peed in the skin, and he drank it out of that. It was crazy.
Really?
Yeah. He took the skin.
I guess if you're desperate, you can do anything.
From Vietnam. In Vietnam, the guys used to tell you they were in the jungle and all kinds of bugs would be stinging you and bites and everything. And they used to say, urinate on it.
I guess urine is the universal germicide.
Dude, I've been pissed on and shit on by every girl I've ever been with.
I don't think shit. I don't think
and
poop,
no jellyfish.
I don't think
either.
poop is sterile, Greg. I can tell you that.
No, definitely not.
That's not.
That's definitely not. We know
Not
that.
one
for a
bit.
fact.
It's actually the opposite.
Let me ask you a question, Greg. When you get pooped on, like, how do you get it off? Like, how do you go outside and get it hosed off? Or what do you do?
No, I was just kidding around.
Yeah, you are.
Leave
That's okay because poop is medicine now. Have you guys heard of fecal transplants?
Yep.
Yeah, I hear about that. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For the back,
It
for the
actually
gut
works. It's
bacteria.
amazing.
Gut bacteria, yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody's got
I
really
find that it's done.
They'll find a way to make money off of anything. Believe me.
They actually put it in capsules and make you swallow it because they
That's
say
another way to do it too, right?
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, but
crazy.
the stomach acid fucks it up. You got to have it implanted.
It doesn't work nearly as well as doing it suppository wise.
Taking somebody's blood and sticking it.
It's just really interesting how
What's it supposed to do?
another person's good
There's
bacteria.
gotta be I'm sorry, guys. There's got to be a better way. I got my Protolize coming out. It's got probiotics in it. I think that's a lot better way of getting the bacteria.
The pudding?
Oh,
The pudding?
Yeah, the pudding. Yeah, I put a whole assortment of like heat stable probiotics into the new Protolize that's coming out.
Why'd the pudding ever go away?
We need that.
Because one of the ingredients that we were using was a very hard to find ingredient, and I couldn't find it. So I had to reformulate the taste system, which that's the most important thing. It's very hard to do when you don't use sugar or any kind of carbs.
Good.
Yeah.
So while I was doing that and trying to I tasted like 100 samples over the course of like 6 months. I said, hey, can you guys get it? Because I knew the new probiotic blends had come out with that were heat stable and shelf stable.
Mm-hmm.
So I wound up adding that to the mix too, and it should be like any day now, any day.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
It's a very popular product because it's like 30 grams of protein per serving. I mean,
Dave,
I'll
what's the
use
sweetener?
What?
What's the sweetener in it?
Aspartame. Not aspartame, sucralose. Sorry.
Oh, sucralose. Yeah.
Can I ask?
Hey, monk fruit.
What are you eating, Armand?
Kiwi, but it's like Asian kiwi. It's like a little different color. It's
That looks good.
Oh, the yellow one. Yeah,
I thought it was cucumber, but I'll take kiwi too. That looks good.
We get them from the Asian. My wife gets them from the Asian shop. Like they have better fruit there. Like they have like Asian pears, and it tastes way better than just regular pears.
So
Absolutely.
I have this surgery tomorrow. I'm getting like a small hernia repair done on my abs.
Oh, you're getting it done.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Are you on a rotation?
That's great.
Are you on a rotation that you have to get surgery like every 6 months?
I think I want to make sure I want to make sure that my what is it called?
Are you addicted to anesthetics?
He's a $6 million man. You remember that series?
Well, I never met someone who's got a story on more times than you.
Majors.
Dave
I
likes
got to
that
make sure my
protocol.
deductibles met.
Majors Palumbo. Here he is. All new parts.
Dave, don't forget to bring your sodium because
Okay,
you know that
George,
they're
I
not
like
going to give you any sodium. And make sure you bring some protein because the food's going to suck.
That's an outpatient.
It's a 20-minute procedure. I'm hoping I'm not going to stay in the hospital. I'm hoping I'm going to
Is
be
it the
out.
robotic one?
No, they make a little incision. They just sew the hole
They
closed.
do it? Okay.
It's so small that they can't even use mesh, they said.
Is that a
So I'm going in for surgery again too in a little while.
For what? For what?
Vasectomy.
He's getting
Really?
he's getting his beard removed.
I'm getting snipped.
You actually can produce sperm?
I was going to say that. Good
You're
for
on
you.
HRT though.
So
Dude, why
Yeah.
not just like impregnate as many women as you can?
He doesn't need any more kids.
because
Men can
number
create
one,
60
that would be like a
men-
nightmare.
We can have
Number
60
two,
kids.
He's gonna be 64 like me.
But we could have men can have
No,
60
John,
kids.
how old are you, bro?
Women
How old are
can't.
you, John?
63.
Really? Well, you look good for your age, man.
John
What's
and
his
I,
name just had a kid? Who just had just got someone pregnant at 60? Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt just had a kid.
Yeah, but he didn't take that much roids, so you know.
But how old is his wife?
I'm sure she's probably under 40. I think she's like 38 or something.
Probably.
Yeah,
It's harder for a woman around that.
Well, that's
She might be 28. She might be 28 actually.
It's one of the downfalls of being married to a woman 25 years younger than me is that her propensity to be impregnated is much higher than women in my age group.
Right.
mine's Latin, so that you got to add it on top
So
of
is
that.
mine. Mine's Latin too, so you got to add another factor.
27 years
They're
older than
extra fertile.
They know it. They know it too.
But John,
Latin girls,
no kids.
5 Latin girls and 1 dude could repopulate the planet and not go.
Absolutely.
The number is 60.
She's 33, actually.
60 is the number.
De Niro had a kid at 79. That's right.
We can give birth to 60 women. I mean, 60 women, 60 kids.
Al
That's
Pacino
why in China,
Hey.
when they had that thing 20 years ago where they had too many people.
Yeah, one
They
child.
only had that one kid.
Now you know what? Now they don't have enough kids. Did you hear that?
Oh, that actually was done on purpose.
Yeah, we're facing that.
That's the new army.
They're saying that they don't have enough people now because they didn't. No one was repopulating.
Well, they only want boy babies too. Plus, Ashfa came down to my girlfriend's so I don't have to worry about getting her pregnant.
Yeah, but they send all those men over to our country to impregnate our women and get citizenship.
I mean, you know, they did it on purpose.
Absolutely, because there's
their army.
There is, and there's an actual camp. Now we can talk about it. There's an actual camp where the Chinese people have a group, and they're not with the coyotes. They're not with the other people.
Yes.
They have money, so they're staying in hotels and they're being like driven in cars all the way up to the certain border where they take in these Chinese Chinese citizens of their country, and then they give them citizenship over here.
Right.
And we're talking lots and lots.
Repopulation, that's what it is.
It's not Mexican. Mexicans aren't coming here. They
want these people coming in so they have voters. They need a new base of voters.
You know what the number one nationality of illegal migrants is now?
Haitian.
Probably Africans, right?
Isn't it Haitian?
Chinese.
Oh, Chinese.
That's why I said it.
Military
hotels,
men. Military-aged men.
Now,
that's who it is. They have their own separate camp in the Darien River Gap.
Right, that's
right.
You
guys, I don't think you guys probably
they don't know. They don't
know. They have camps.
All right. Look, we're not talking about immigration. Look, I want to talk about my surgery. So let's get back to surgery here. So
we'll send you to a camp, Dave.
Hold on. Just hold on. I don't care about the camps.
Said you're the one.
I don't want to talk about immigration. Forget about it.
Okay.
It's not an immigration show. We'll do another show. We'll do different show. So I'm getting surgery tomorrow. So I went to the my chart. There's like they ask you to do like a little form to fill out before the surgery. So I'm filling it out, and they're like, "What's your BMI?" And I'm thinking, I don't know what my BMI is. I guess that's your how much muscle, how much fat you have, right? Or I guess it's really how much fat you have on your body. So I click on the little
index.
There's a calculator. Yeah, right. It's an index, but so I calculate click on the little calculator, and of course, what does it ask for? Height and weight. Doesn't ask for anything else. Okay, so I put 5'9.5", 5'10", whatever I am now, and I put 100. I put 200 pounds. I'm really like 205, 210, but I put 200 to make it easy. You know what my BMI is, John?
35.
It's like 30%. Yeah, like I have 0% body fat. And
I can't believe they still use BMI. That's so outdated.
I had to get based on height and weight.
I was getting health insurance for a new provider, and they had to come and give me a EKG,
right?
Because of my age, right? So I got to fill out all those forms, just like you. They asked for my BMI, the height, weight, and all that.
Yeah.
I give it to them, and the lady comes over and she says, where's the patient? And I said, I'm him. She goes, well, this one indicates that you should be morbidly obese.
That's what mine said, Sean. That's what mine said. I have 0% body fat. I'm obese.
I have no fat. I'm more like you, and I'm morbidly obese.
Yeah.
They haven't updated the science in 100 years. Okay,
it's like
and they wonder why we have the worst health record of any country in the world.
Oh shit! Who made that picture?
Sid did that pretty fast. Yeah, I don't know.
Who did that? That's great.
That was pretty fast.
Dave, you got nice.
I have nice boobs, right?
That's going to be the clickbait picture. Dave gained weight. He's depressed.
That's what
That would be
I've
impossible.
been bulking, guys. Come on, I've been bulking. Everyone's been complimenting me.
That reminds me of
body
South
fat
Park
ass.
when
Come on.
Eric Cartman was taking the protein supplement. Beef cake! And it was like 100% saturated fat. You know,
Yeah.
at the end of the show, he's laying on a gurney. He weighs like 900 pounds. He's a blob of fat. And he's saying, follow your goals, but never give up. Believe in yourself.
Have you ever seen that movie Wall-E? Like that little cartoon movie?
Never.
Remember the people that are on the spaceship? They're like they don't walk. They just get there's like little robotic things that like
They hover.
fly them around
Yeah.
because they're too fat. That's going to be our world.
Yeah, because everything's automated.
It's cake. There he is on the gurney right there.
I've never watched that shit in my life ever.
That was probably the funniest one they ever did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty funny. That one.
Terrible.
I could watch that in like high school and junior after. It was just too annoying. I couldn't do that.
You gotta
show.
get stoned first.
You can't-
Yeah, I'm not a stoner. Yeah.
Once you
Because
get in
you're
your
young.
30s, then it's like stuff you thought was funny, and when you're 18, 19 is no longer.
I love Beavis and Butthead. I've always liked them.
Oh, yeah.
Beavis and
You're
Butthead.
good.
How about
Yeah,
Ren and Stimpy?
the funniest
Ren
of
and
all.
Stimpy.
You ever watch Joe
Ren
Biden?
and
It's hilarious.
Stimpy. George, did you say Ren and Stimpy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Ren and
Ren and
Stimpy
Stimpy
was
was awesome.
amazing. I love Ren and Stimpy.
that was insane.
How about Mrs. Big?
Big Ren and Stimpy fan. Yeah, that's awesome.
And close second was Cat Dog.
Cat
Cat
Dog.
Dog
I
was
don't think I
good,
saw
too.
that show. Cat Dog.
The kids used to watch that.
Fucking funny.
You know, Tyler Mannion, who's the vice president of the IFBB NPC, made an announcement which I thought was pretty cool. I guess they have a big sponsor they just brought on board, and they're increasing the prize money at every men's IFBB Pro Open show by $10,000.
Wow.
Every show now will have an additional $10,000. So if you
Who's the
already
sponsor? Who's the
What?
big sponsor? Who's
yeah, it's a
sponsoring?
big sponsor. Yeah.
It's some cookie company, George.
It's a Kratom company, I think. It's
Not a
Kratom
cookie company.
Ah, shit.
Not
Yeah.
yet.
The problem with
Are you
Kratom is
serious,
everybody.
Well, I'm going to sponsor the UFC.
It's
I
addictive.
want the
It's
UFC.
addictive.
Yeah, I look. I'm not a huge Kratom fan, but I have to say that I'm happy that the bodybuilders is going to be making an extra $10,000 for winning.
Is it your Kratom?
Dude, 10 grand's a
Every
Watch
no, in
Facebook.
other words, so let's say the show already gave away $10,000, so now the first prize is $20,000. So they're adding.
I mean, it's
$10,000.
about time. Those shows that have been giving $10,000 away, they've been giving away $10,000 for 30 years.
Yeah, well now they're done. Now it's double. And if they were given $15,000, it's going to be $25,000.
Yeah, well, they have to
What
have
are you
the
guys'
money.
thoughts
though.
on Kratom? I have a couple different thoughts. What are you guys' thoughts on Kratom? Let's go
Hey,
around.
Your Kratom is I just started carrying it, and it's really good stuff. It's
The problem- it's a little controversial, I think, because
they're the sponsor of the
stimulate opiates. But you know what? It's legal. So well, it's at least it's not illegal.
In some states, it's not. Some
It's
states,
not,
it's
yeah,
still
it's not
illegal.
illegal. So as long as it's not illegal, if people want to sell it, they can sell it. Obviously, obviously, I don't encourage people to use it if you don't need it. Because there's no reason to just take it. Knee jerk.
Absolutely. That's what it boils down to. If
I
you
know,
don't-
like Chris Bell, John, our friend Chris Bell, who made Bigger, Stronger,
Leap of
Faster.
faith.
He's talked about the fact that he's struggled with opiates his whole life, and he said that for him, if he's on Kratom, he has no desire to do the other opiates, and it keeps him sober essentially. Even though he's not technically sober if he's on Kratom, but he has his own Kratom company too. Actually, he has a Kratom.
What?
He did a
I don't
documentary
know
on
what it
it.
is.
Yeah.
Leap of faith.
his
I think they have their time and place. This is what I think. I think if you're, an opiate addict and you're using that instead, awesome. If you were a heroin addict and Kratom has saved a lot of people from heroin addiction, awesome. But I don't think if you're not in pain and you if you're just taking Kratom on a daily basis just for the euphoric feeling of it, I think that's a problem. A lot of these detox centers I went to when I was in oxycodone, people were there for Kratom. It's not as bad as withdrawal as an oxycodone or a regular opiate. I would say it's on the same level as like a Nubain withdrawal, the Kratom.
That was fucking horrible, man.
Yeah.
So
It's
crazy.
about the same-
Three tries to get off New Baby.
Hey,
Yeah, it's about the same as Nubain. I went through Nubain withdrawals. And I did the Kratom withdrawals too, because after I got off for a while, I got on Kratom and then I went back on the bullshit. But I would say about Kratom and Nubane are the same withdrawals. So
if you're in chronic pain, though, if you're in chronic pain, I think, and you can get away with taking Kratom and not taking anything else, like you know, that the doctors are going to prescribe like oxys or anything like that. I think that's a tool that's good for you, that's of good use. You know, some people live in chronic pain. They have knee pain or they have shoulder pain or whatever the case may be. Back pain from surgery, like Ronnie Coleman. You can use Kratom and that's it, and you can stop there. Then I think that's the right use of it. I think, but when people just start taking it because they're bored or maybe they have some emotional pain, they want to kind of mask, that's probably not a good, because that could lead to you going and taking something stronger after that.
So the teas they make the teas, but the concentrated shots, those are way stronger than any of the other stuff. Like they're about $20 a pop, and you could get pretty, like if someone was doing, I knew about 15 or 20 of those a day. That's a few $100s a day, and just those. But you got to be careful with it because you can get addicted to it.
Yeah. I think that's an important point to make, especially, you know, you're a recovering addict and you know the pitfalls you can easily slip. It's a slippery slope is what you're saying.
Hey, let me say something.
Is the withdrawal from Kratom the same as Nubane, the physical addiction?
I felt like it was the same for me, John.
Armand said, but
I felt like it was the same.
Armand, did you use Nubane? I'm sorry.
Armand's addictive personality. He gets addicted to everything. I was at the LA Fit Expo, and I have this. It's something in my lower back, my SI joint. And after walking around there carrying this bag of camera equipment all day, my back was killing me.
Right.
And I thought that your Kratom booth, and the guy gave me this my 45, and I took one capful of that.
That's the company. Yeah, that's the company.
Yeah. And the guy is a super cool guy, by the way. And he gave me one capful of that stuff. And 3 minutes later, I felt no pain, at all.
Well, it stimulates opioid receptors. Yeah.
I was walking around the Fit Expo, and I felt great. And the other thing is, pre-workout, it's awesome.
Well, that was the whole Nubane thing. Yeah, everyone used Nubane.
It wears off, though. Wait, I want to ask Larry, what happens when that kind of stuff wears off? Are you like back in bad pain again, or no?
So my thing is weird. It's like I'm not in pain unless I'm walking long distance. Right. If I sit down, like I can be in massive pain. As soon as I sit down, I'm not in pain because it's just my nerve being compressed.
Right. But Larry, you know what? You're a control freak, Larry, so you can use a drug like responsibly and not become addicted to it, whereas some people just have an addictive personality and they'll keep doing it.
So, yeah, but with something like Nubane, that doesn't matter because you get physically. You got to
know your personality when you do these things, you know.
Your personality has nothing to do with who.
I don't know.
No, because
Nubane,
Nubane is not physically addictive the first week you take it. You just like the way you feel. That's all. So you take it.
Yeah, but here's what happens: you start taking it because you want to take it before the gym to work out, so you can train harder, and then you do that for a couple of weeks, and then let me take another shot when I get back from the gym, you know,
because you like the way you feel, of course.
Right. And then, you know, a little later on in the afternoon, you say, no, maybe I'll take another. Next thing you know, you're doing it every fucking 2 hours.
John, Larry, Dave, I introduced Titus to Nubane. I didn't know. We didn't know. Dave, be honest. Nobody knew back then. We didn't know.
Dan Duchesne said it was a good supplement for bodybuilding.
Are you kidding me? Dan Duchesne was pumping Nubane when.
I know, but he didn't say it was addictive. In the pamphlet, it doesn't say.
It says not addiction. I know it does say that. Yeah.
It's only used short term in the hospital. It's very, very short term drug. Okay, so then we get on it and we start using it. I don't know who didn't use it IV, but I think everyone did. Being of addicted personality. I'm just being honest because it burned or it's like kind of burned a little bit. But everybody
learned to spell.
It's because you took it wrong.
I love leaving. I got to tell you.
But anyway, addicted personalities like Titus, it spiraled him out of control. That was the beginning of his downfall.
Yeah, it could be a transition. You know what though? If I get the surgery when I get it tomorrow, if I'm in pain, I'd rather take Kratom than take an OxyContin or an Oxycontin.
Just eat a Captain Proteins chocolate peanut butter, and you will feel better than any Nubane or anything else.
Take a
It's
nice
got a
cold
time and place.
shower.
It depends what company you use. Also, like Larry said, it depends what company you use because I was sponsored by companies before. A lot of these companies, you gotta understand, they leave the leaves out, like chickens walking on them, and like chickens are shitting on them, and so a lot of the companies have like salmonella in them. So
Really?
I don't think the company that's doing the Olympic, they're a reputable company.
They're
So.
legitimate
Right.
farms.
I don't know if the owners want me to tell them who they are, so I'm not going to say it. But I will say this: I love the fact that they're giving back some of the money to the athletes, and that to me just shows me that they care because they could just pocket that money. They don't have to. They don't have to, put the money, into the athletes.
But legitimately, that we're talking about it. Okay, it is the plant version of Nubane because some of them are more pick you up, and some of them are more sedative, depending on which.
are there a partial, right? I mean, but they're both a partial.
Yeah, sounds more like marijuana.
What's that?
It sounds more
They're
like
both
marijuana.
they're both partially
uplifting one like sativa, and then there's
Keep up, Lee. We've already talked about that. That's what we're talking about.
Indica,
It's similar to that. The more white it is, the more energetic it is. And don't forget, kratom comes from the coffee family. It's not from the opiate family. However, it does bind to the mu kappa and beta opiate receptors. And because of that, then it actually works very similar to like a hydrocodone or an oxycodone. I think it's similar to like a 5 milligrams of oxycodone if you were to kind of equivalent the two. But kratom has a much actually better feeling than it, more like a actual opium feeling than an oxy feeling, which is from Thebaine, which like Nubane, the other ones are from. And so I think kratom could be beneficial to a lot of bodybuilders that don't want to get addicted to pain medicine because unfortunately in bodybuilding there's so many guys that struggle through injuries, number one, and then when they're getting ready for a show and they can't stop to get something fixed and they're in pain, it can help you. I haven't noticed that it makes you hold any sub-Q water or anything like that. And people that are taking it, it doesn't seem to like be something that's going to throw you off for a show. So I'd rather people do that than take pharmaceutical drugs.
But you're
I think it does lower your testosterone levels, though.
All things that bind to opiate receptors lower testosterone levels.
Wait a minute. Who's right? You or Armin? Because Armin says it's physically addictive, like Nubane.
It is. It is physically addictive.
It's not addictive. So which is
no. I didn't say it's not addictive. It is addictive.
You just said it.
I said it's less addictive, and I think you can get off it easier. But
if you're taking it every day for like 3 months and try to come off, you're going to have withdrawals.
You're going to have withdrawals. But if you take it like 2 times a week, it's not a big deal. And I'll be honest, I have some myself, but I don't even crave it. I don't have any need to take it. The last time I took it was over like 3 months ago. I had a headache or something. I took a little bit. I felt fine. But that's the limit.
Can you just take a Tylenol? I mean,
I'd rather take kratom than a Tylenol because Tylenol is
different. And the thing is,
Malaysia, and Thailand.
Yep.
The thing is, you don't want to just start. You just don't want to pop them all day. Like you can have your kratom. Like when I had my sponsor, I had a lot of it, and you can just take it when you need it. If you do that, you're fine. If you start taking it every day, 3-4 times a day,
never take it every day.
Eventually, if you try to get off.
That's why I said it's important you know your personality because if you're an addictive personality, you probably shouldn't take it recreationally. That's all I'm saying.
I would never take any of that shit.
It says you can treat diarrhea and a cough with it. Okay. It treats the higher dosage range is traditionally used to treat conditions like diarrhea and cough.
So it treats diarrhea the same way opiates make you constipated.
Makes you constipated.
You know what's really funny though is if you read the side effects, one of them is diarrhea.
That's always the way. It's like
you'll get diarrhea.
It's like
there's been some cases though related to death lately though, so that's the whole hiccup with the kratom thing. But they were probably on benzos and added alcohol and other stuff to suppress the
kratom itself doesn't suppress the respiratory.
The people in Southeast Asia have been chewing that stuff for 2,000 years, probably.
Yes. We're not chewing a leaf.
It's great for depression. Also, it's great for depression.
That's not true. There is a lot of ground leaf. Actually, what I have is just ground leaf. You put lemon juice on it, and then you put hot water on it, you steep it, and then you drink it like a tea.
Some of the kratom is processed with chemicals.
Right.
And
you're not talking into your microphone, Larry.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound like you're not talking into the mic, though. But.
Okay, can you hear me now?
It's hard.
I hear you. It's just not good. It's not good. It's just low, very low.
Talk loud.
Okay, well, some of the kratom is processed with chemicals, and the chemicals are what makes it addictive and causes side effects and all of this stuff. The Your Kratom is pure, and they use a certain extract, and the way they do it, there's nothing but Kratom in there. So all the chemicals that you get in all these different Kratom products are not there. So it's not accumulative, it's not addictive, it's none of that.
Do they list the percentage of metragenine on there?
I don't know. The guy that owns the company, his name's Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
He used to be an American Gladiator right before Michael Hearn.
Okay.
Michael Hearn took over his position. And I'm actually carrying their product now.
Okay.
Does it make you sleepy?
Here, I got like an old bottle of Kratom right here. It says
there's my 45 is the energy one, and then there's my Bliss, which is for a relaxation, like if you want to chill out and go to sleep.
Yellow, red, yeah.
So there's two different kinds.
Yeah. There's the white, and then there's the
my 45 is way stronger.
I gotta be honest with you. I just watched Dave and Chris Aceto, and I'll fall right asleep.
Yeah, thanks, Greg.
yeah, like Larry said, it comes down to where are you getting it from? What brand? Because there are brands out there that have had failed for more. They put morphine in it, other chemicals in it. So there's some sketchy brands out there. I wouldn't buy at gas stations or smoke shops. I would buy, of course, through someone in the supplement industry.
Buy it from Larry's.
Larry.
Yeah, I have it on my website right now.
Yeah.
And you can only get it through distributors. They don't sell it like retail.
Good.
So you can only get it through a distributor. You go on my website right now and get it.
Is it only in capsules, Larry?
No, it's a liquid.
Oh.
And I'll tell you this, it tastes horrible.
Yes, it does.
It tastes nasty. So
very bitter.
And you take one little cap and you just shake it, and you chase it down with like your whatever
you need like a cap of G, like a cap.
It's like GHB. Yeah, it's just
like a little shot. They fill them like in shots. I mean, like little shot.
Free nutrient.
There's probably
blue nitro ready.
This is the company that's sponsoring the shows.
I think George is gonna make a Kratom cookie.
Yeah, that's it.
I've had that brand before. It's a good brand.
Yeah.
Those shots are strong, though. I mean, that's yeah. He said that's an extract right there. That's strong.
Because they're extra. Yeah, the extracts are strong, and those if you're doing like 3 or 4 of those a day, and then you're gonna have some withdrawals after that. Doing that for a few weeks.
Absolutely, you're gonna have diarrhea.
You're gonna take it when you need it. Like you have a headache, you hurt, just take it only as needed.
You just have to look. What we're just telling you is just be aware that you could get addicted to it, and if you know that and you go into it using it, occasionally when you just need it, you're going to be fine. But if you're going to use it every day, like Armand's telling you several times a day, you're going to get addicted.
2 times a week max. 2 times a week max.
I would never do that. It's just you guys have cured me on even thinking about ever doing something like that.
You never even had a drink of alcohol, right?
That's true.
But Greg, it has some really good properties. Like when Larry hurt his back, why not? Why be in pain? But a lot of times it helps with depression a lot too. It helps with your mood.
And also, why be subjected to have to get a pharmaceutical drug? Why be subjected to have to go to the when you're in pain and all you want is something to get rid of the pain? Why have to go through that whole process to get there?
I'll tell you why. Because what? Some people are worried, and this is a real concern because there are a lot of companies. There's no control over how much is actually in the drug, because the FDA doesn't regulate nutritional supplements. Whereas if you get a prescription drug and it says 5 milligrams, it's 5 milligrams.
That's the problem. You're right.
You gotta make sure you're using a reputable company, because if you get a bargain basement thing, you might overdose on the stuff, or you might not even be getting enough.
Dave, the reason why I don't drink is, I grew up idolizing my father, and he didn't drink. But the thing is, it has nothing to do with anything else other than that, and you lose control. You know what? I got to tell you something. By the way, Joe Zapata saw Sam Salik this weekend, right? And he asked Sam Salik. First of all, Sam Salik said he loves Salik.
Who's Sam Salik?
Sam Salik.
Sam Salik.
Right?
You mean
young guy?
Wait,
are you taking pronunciation lessons from George?
Wait, I just want to say something. Right? So he saw Sam Solik, or whatever his name is, and he was saying that Sam was telling him, first of all, he loves Lee Priest. He said, I can't talk to him, though, because the guys that are pimping him don't want him talking to him. Okay?
It's so weird.
So he loves Lee Priest. Lee Priest is his favorite. Then he said, they were talking about me, right? And he said, yeah, I saw that TV show with Valentino on the Arnold. He said, I watched it when it was live. Then Joe asked him about Jay Cutler being on Shark Tank. He says, I have no idea what's Shark Tank. He had no idea what he was into. That proves that he's a kid. See, kids, they don't know that stuff, the Shark Tank stuff.
Well, you're a big star. You know, I told you. We apologize for not acknowledging.
He's on TV.
I figured he signed not a good.
We already
such a good
apologized
contract.
the last show for not acknowledging your status.
Wait, Dave,
I don't know if you guys are aware. Hold on. I don't know if you guys are aware, but Greg has been given a contract. I think it's by the Kratom company. I think they're paying you $2 million a year now, right?
Who?
You.
Me? Oh,
yeah.
For $2 million.
You're a big star. You got a big contract.
Nobody's
Hold on.
So Greg, you love Kratom.
Greg plays this poor Italian old man act, but he really has like a lot of money in the bank. So, you know, just to let you guys know, because he is a big star on TV, bigger than Jay Cutler for sure.
Wait a minute, I want to say something.
All that lawn art he has.
Wait, Dave, you want to really get in a gallery in an uproar?
Yeah.
I just did a thank you video to you, by the way, because what you said on me with the synthol, and then you get the guys. But I got to tell you something, right? So then you get the guys like, I took steroids and I didn't get that's not testosterone. Bullshit. First of all, you morons. I was taking full bottles every other day, plus equipoise, plus freaking Stan or Sustenance, right? So listen, right? So I was taking that. So if you're putting that in the bicep, let's say I was taking like 8 cc's every other day, right?
Yeah.
If it's this big. They're sticking it in a glute, which is like this. So they say that's not synthol effects. They're morons. But Dave, they're really freaking out over something you said. And you know what that is?
What?
How can Dave Palumbo say that synthol could actually build muscle? So that is what everybody's going in an upward. They're like, they're hammering me. But I said,
I saw the same studies Dave saw.
There was studies they did in Amsterdam, and I saw the studies, never published, but I
didn't believe it, but I saw
it.
MRI.
They did MRIs. They used Chris Clark's product. They did MRI studies, and they showed that the constant administration, it would probably work with anabolics too because of the oil.
Nutrition.
Oil into a body part. So it's basically spot injections. Causes a hyper feeding response, almost like a positive nutrient partitioning effect.
Bringing blood to the area.
No, nutrients. So it's like hyper feeding the muscles in a localized area. And when the muscles are damaged from working out, they tend to grow better when there's an abundance of nutrition in that area, because the original Chris Clark product had glycoproteins in there too. So it was protein and fat basically you're infusing into the muscle on a regular basis that you're actually training too. They showed increased muscle gains. That's why I said all synthol is not created equal, because the two formulas, the one that was Chris Clark's and then Steve DeLuca's formula, Painless Pumps, had those glycoproteins in there. And that was the key really to the success of them, long-term muscle growth. Now, I'm not talking about the short-term volumization effect. So these people don't know what they're talking about. You know, everyone likes the new thing.
Nothing know what they're talking.
Dave, because
it causes growth. It causes growth. I have a couple clients that use it.
What?
I have a couple clients that I put on. I like a different product that's out now, Incisize, but
that's
they put about an inch on my arm.
Yours works well, but it's a different formula than what you do. Doesn't mean it doesn't work, because the volumization effect of synthol gives you an initial size increase, and anyone who says that they don't do it, like Greg said, I didn't do synthol, but he injected 10 cc's a day of propin to his arm. So I mean, it essentially did the same thing.
Do you think it did? Do you think it had the nutrition?
I took testosterone in my ass, and I didn't get a big ass. But you were taking what, cc, 2 cc, even
Greg, your arms were 30 inches. You obviously had a volumizing effect from all the oil you put in there.
This big. I tell Dave all the time, bro, that shit. Even after I got locked,
you know why your ass didn't get big? Because your glute muscle's bigger and it absorbed it much more easily. When you shot it, and your arm was getting trapped, the oil, and it wasn't getting absorbed.
Thank you, Dave. Moron.
Greg, did that not hurt like hell? Your arms?
I got to be honest with you, Roman. I loved every minute. I love testosterone so much. I would suck on the end of the needle because I didn't want to waste that little needle with the dampness. I was sucking on it like this. I loved it.
Hold on, Greg. Would you save the bottles and then rip the metal cap off and suck out the little extra?
Pliers. Holy shit, Dave. I would take pliers. You know what I'm saying? And I would rip the fucking top off. Dude, I would even like almost chew on the little glass. I feel like I didn't want to waste any of that shit.
I used to do that with
you
the
just
Nubain
open up that way?
Yeah,
What did you just open up that way, Greg, and pour the bottles in like the 10 ml syringe? What did you do that?
You do that to like 6 Nubain bottles, and you get a whole nother
Get a whole CC out of me, John, right?
Yeah, that's different though, John.
Dave, he's right. You know what I would do? I wouldn't throw out the bottle when it was done. I would keep it in a box. And then one day when I had like 20 of them friggin' things, I would go back, break off the tops of each one, and suck out the little teeny bit of each one. By the time you're done, you got a whole CC.
You would let the empty bottles ferment for a month or two to make sure the bacteria grew enough in there. And then
I didn't care. I didn't care. I was crazy, bro. I didn't give a shit.
Dude, what kind of needle did you use to do that? That's what I was.
You're not gonna believe me. I used to.
He would reuse his needles. He had 27 boxes of syringes in his house, and he would reuse the needles.
I heard that, Dave. That's why I was asking. But how big were they?
Dude, I was selling the needles in cases, right? I was cheap. I didn't want to use those. So I reused the needles. It was big. I would take a plier and like straighten it out, and sometimes it would stop the shit from coming through. So I had to get another one. But dude, I was nuts. I dropped the thing on the floor.
What was the gauge? What was the inch?
I wanted to clean the environment so we get infections and shit.
Horrible.
Yeah, well,
I mean, honestly, I've heard these things, but this sounds like somebody using like crack or something. This doesn't sound. This is bizarre. I've never heard this type of behavior.
I never used growth. I never used insulin. I never used any.
And then look, you won't do other drugs, but he did these drugs like you do a crack. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, man.
That's right. It sounds like addictive behavior. Yeah.
Dude, it was. Every minute of it. I wanted to do it every day. I didn't even want to take a day in between. I wanted to do it every day. So in between,
how did you go from that addictive mentality to where you are now? Because that's definitely addiction. There's no question.
I don't. That's you. My sweet addiction. My sweet addiction was that. What is he?
How did you go?
He's right. If you would have taken drugs and drank alcohol, you would have been a terrible addict. Yeah.
If you would have smoked crack once, it would have been over. We would never see it.
Yeah. He would have never left his house.
I'm scared of all that stuff. I don't touch anything.
Well, you should be the way you behaved with steroids. So exactly how did you get off? This is a story for any addict. People should hear this. I want to know.
I loved it. I'm not going to lie. I loved it.
That's why going to jail is sometimes the best thing that can happen to you because it forces you to go cold turkey. Right?
They had me in a program. You know, the judge made me go sit in this fucking program and all like heroin action. We sit in a circle. Hi, my name is Greg, and I'm a steroid addict.
Yes, exactly.
And all the drug, like I'm sitting there like this, right, the whole time.
No, but you shouldn't have been though. The way you were using it.
Listen, the lady that runs the program, I'm sitting like this, right? Where everybody else is sitting like this and shit, right? So the lady runs the program, excuse me, hold on, everybody. And she goes, and she looks over at me, she goes, are we bothering you? What's wrong with you? Because I'm sitting like this. Because I'm sorry, but you guys are all talking about it. I got to be honest, last night I used, you know what I mean? And they're all sitting there, you know, heroin, crack, all this other shit. I can't relate to you people. Bro, as soon as I said that, all these freaking heroin addicts, crack addicts all start attacking me. Oh, look who's talking. You don't think those steroids were addictive? Look what you look like. You know, when I'm sitting there like, okay, here we go. You know what I mean? Like, oh, yeah, okay, I had a problem with steroids, you know.
But I quit cold turkey, right? In the long story short.
Yeah, no choice, yes, yeah.
Okay, so you were being tested too, weren't you?
Not for steroids, but I got to tell you something. My arrest saved my life because I was pissing brown, bro. I was pissing brown. And I wasn't stopping. You know what I mean? I was like the mentality. I was like,
how can you not associate? How could you? Don't you see it's the same part of the brain, even though it's a different drug?
I know you're trying to pull me in like them heroin.
No. I don't want you to feel guilty. Listen, trust me, bro. I
wish I could do that Babanya right now. I'd be. Like this. I love the Babanya. I'm not going to lie. But I got to tell you something, though. All joking aside, you know, I wouldn't have stopped. If they didn't stop me, I would not have stopped. But
I think the point Amin is making is that you don't smoke any weed, you don't do drugs, you don't drink alcohol because
I get it. I know he's right. He's right.
But you were just as addicted to these other things. I think it's you don't do those drugs because I think you don't do those drugs and drink because you know that you become addicted to them.
I'm scared of that.
Yes.
I'm scared of that. But
you're right.
But the thing is, Dave knows this. I took so much shit, right? And it sat in me for years. I didn't have to take steroids. I'd sit back and I was still jacked, still got boners, the whole thing, because that shit was like time.
All he had to do was squeeze his arm, and all of a sudden he was like, "Oh, I feel so much better now."
Put a heating pad on it. Put a heating pad on it.
Bring up a little scar tissue, you know.
Yeah, time release.
It was just like slowly I was shrinking it, but very slow. For like 3 years, I didn't have to do nothing.
They should use an experiment. They actually developed a 10-year release testosterone. You don't have to take you only have to go once a year for you.
Who needed an implant? You know, they do the pellet implants and stuff. Who needed that?
Hey, you know what? That might be a good idea. Imagine you get bicep implants. You got big arms, and then over the course of 10 years, the arms just get smaller, and then they just refill it. There's like a little almost like with the breast implant, like a little valve. They can just load it up with more testosterone, you know.
Dave, that's another thing. These morons in your forum over there are like, and he had like meat and solids taken out. I never knew what they're talking about. You know, I mean, it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. That's the new one now. You know what I mean? He had solid. The one thing I had was after my big balloon arm, which was hematoma that I drained, I had the skin tightened because of friggin', you had a ball sack. You know what I'm saying? But I loved it. I'm not gonna lie. I love the way that shit. Sten, which is a nasty Mexican.
Yeah, from Mexico.
Oh my God! When I would take that shit,
very fast acting.
I would get boners. I would want to fuck the dirt. You know what I'm saying? If I could throw my legs when I was younger, I'd be able to throw my legs over my head and suck my own dick. I can't do that now. But if I could still do that, forget about it. Bro, I would be like, leave me alone. I gotta go come. But
do you guys remember you remember that basketball player Len Bias who died of a overdose?
Yeah.
I was reading an article today that they were saying that he was actually they thought he was a better prospect than Michael Jordan in his youth.
That's
he thought he was going to be better, like the greatest of all time. This guy.
He was really good.
What did he OD on coke?
Right. So he had something about an enzyme his body didn't produce or something, and he smoked crack and he died.
Oh, really? Wow.
Dude, I know a kid that smoked pot once, and he was a wrestler. He was jacked. He was crazy. He smoked pot once, and something snapped in his brain, and now he's like, "Hi!" Walks around with the hockey helmet on his head. He's all.
Oh, really? That's
no,
great.
the weed had to have been laced, dude. It can't. The real weed.
Maybe I don't know, but he did it one time.
Did y'all see that case that girl? She took a hit from a bong a couple times and stabbed her husband like 80 times, and she got off on 2 years probation.
Was it spiced smoking?
No, it said it was marijuana. She went into a state of psychosis. She stabbed him like 80 times, and she got off on 2 years probation.
They forgot to mention
113 times.
She was laced with fentanyl. They forgot.
113 times.
Weren't they lacing like cigarettes with like LSD for a while or something like that? I remember.
No, it's called embalming fluid. Embalming fluid.
Yeah.
Embalming. No, PCP was before that, and then after PCP, they called it
Formaldehyde.
Who for the first time smoked embalming fluid? That's what I want to know. Like, who was the genius who said, you know what? I'm going to get some embalming fluid and I'm going to try to smoke it and see how I feel on it.
Dave, do you remember Dana Dotson? Do you remember a female fitness girl? She died. I was there. She was at the Sound Factory. Her boyfriend broke up with her, and she tried MDMA once. She never did any drugs, never did anything. She dropped dead on the way out of the Sound Factory, right there on the front steps. And she
what was she using?
Huh?
What was she using?
Ecstasy.
I think she was taking ecstasy, right? But she never did it. Her friends were like, she was depressed. Her boyfriend just broke up with her. She was gorgeous. She was 19 years old.
Yeah.
She was already
was serotonin toxicity? How did she die?
I don't know. She just took it with some people.
It's crazy, dude. I could take 10 at once back in the day.
Right there's a whole bunch of bullshit you got to unpack. Okay. MDMA is not lethal. Not at all.
Yeah.
What is lethal is what you do when you're on MDA, which number one is you become dehydrated. Number one,
right?
That can lead to a heart attack or terror.
That's a Sound Factory thing, definitely.
Totally. Also, the interaction with other drugs. It's rare that you just do MDMA. You do MDMA with PHP or A or whatever.
She was beautiful.
So.
She was beautiful.
It's X with GHB that causes the problem.
Wow.
I knew her very well because of Bob Bonham. She used to
that's bikini. That's bikini.
Shows.
That's a bikini.
Yeah, no, she was gorgeous.
I'm saying the girls got too big now.
Yeah, I agree, George. 100%. George,
You should bring back Hawaiian Tropic. Like, still have these bikini girls, but have these girls.
Yeah, someone mentioned, do you think the MDMA these days has the fentanyl in it?
Probably, dude.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Cocaine has fentanyl.
That's scary. You know,
everything.
Remember the good old days, John, when you can go to a Craig Titus party and have fun? Nowadays, you got to worry about, you're going to get fentanyl laced in the drugs.
Remember that? There's a website that came up called Dance Safe.
Yeah. You send your drugs in and they test it.
Yeah, you would have pictures of all the pills, and you would like
and where they got it too.
Yeah.
And you would see how good it was.
Yeah, but today they knock that stuff off. Whatever you see, the pill, it could have fentanyl in it, but it could look like a legit pill.
That's the problem.
Lee, my biggest night, 5 grams of Coke, 1 gram of MDMA. Thought I was going to die.
That must have been a long
lightweight, Lee. You're a lightweight.
Night must have lasted 4 days.
5 grams of Coke.
I would have hated to have been your penis that night.
2 days.
No. He wouldn't have been able to find it.
No, it wouldn't have worked if he did.
Lee, was that the night you tied it to the coffee table?
It wouldn't have worked. Exactly. Exactly.
Is that the night you slammed it in a drawer?
Yeah, well,
just to see if he could feel it.
Right, exactly.
I love
24 hours, Lee said he was awake, John.
Of course. 5 grams of Coke, more than that probably.
5
Yeah,
grams
probably did it in one shot. That's why it only lasted.
An 8.5.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you know what it could have been too with Dana Dotson? Maybe her friend just kept feeding it to her because she was in a bad spot with her boyfriend breaking up with her, and she was depressed.
I tend to believe John's theory about the GHB being involved too, because that's usually
That will kill you.
That kills you.
You can also overdose on that shit. You know, if you're not used to taking MDMA or something else, and somebody keeps
you overheat, your temperature rises, and when your temperature rises, you overheat, and you actually die from cardiac arrhythmia.
Yep.
I sent you that article, Dave.
Oh yeah.
Right on the floor on the way out, right in the door, right in the doorway.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
And she was a beautiful girl. It's a shame. She was like 19 years old, and she was already a pro.
John,
remember now today about pro cards on the back of a freaking milk carton. But back then, you had to earn that thing, and it was very rare to get a pro card. And she, she
I'm
was
just curious. Did the person that gave her the pill get a murder charge or not?
That I don't know. It was one of her girlfriends that did it. I'm not sure. I don't know. She was
That's what happens, unfortunately. Yeah.
Her and Bob she used to do all the women's extravaganza and all that stuff. You remember that, Dave?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what the crackheads are doing now?
What?
They're taking the lithium battery out of the cell phone. They put it in a bottle with a piece of tinfoil, and then they light it, and it creates an explosion in the bottle, and then they inhale the fumes.
What?
Yeah.
Who
I've heard that.
Who the heck wrecks a cell phone for one blast?
Who was the first guy to figure that out, though?
That's what I
It gives them some fucking crazy high.
Oh, sure.
And they're all literally brain dead.
Who talks about something like that, though? Who says that?
Here's the article that what's his name Armand just sent me. Yeah.
Who's that?
California woman gets probation for fatally stabbing man she dated, causing
so she killed him. Yeah, she killed him.
Yeah.
So that's insane. You can get off on
He was sentenced to 2 years probation. That's it. And 100 hours of community service for stabbing Chad O'Melia in 18 after they smoked marijuana. She faced.
I think she stabbed him like 113 times.
I think she was only facing 5 years in prison.
That to me stinks to
says
high
108
heaven.
times.
It's California.
Have any of you guys ever heard of somebody stabbing somebody to death after smoking weed?
No.
That's insane.
That's
the pot caused her to slip into a psychotic state. Yeah.
But wait a minute. That's a liberal state. That's what. Look at New York. You get a whole bunch of savages kicking cops in the face, and they get away with. They come out of the thing giving a middle finger.
The funny thing is, she was. It's not funny, but she was only facing 5 years in prison for killing the guy.
Yes,
it was involuntary manslaughter.
Picture it the other way around. The guy killed the woman. The guy stabbed the woman 100 times.
Done.
Done with.
Did you see the father in Montana they put in jail for because he wouldn't go along with the fact that his transitioning his daughter?
Oh man!
They put him in jail. They threw this guy in jail.
Why?
Because he was standing up against it. What was right?
I think the kid was 11 years old. Hold on, let me pull this.
Oh
good
shit!
God, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Dude, the world is fucked. Imagine when we were younger, if you kicked a cop in the face, like those savages in New York City did. You know,
When I was a kid, the cops used to beat us religiously. I caught more beatings from cops than I ever caught from my parents. Ever.
It's just wrong, bro.
Greg, if I did that today in Texas, I'd be locked up for 20 years if I went and kicked the cop.
Oh yeah.
In Texas, I would.
First of all, would you want to be a cop today? I wouldn't want to be a cop today. They don't have your back. Imagine some savage. If that cop would have took that savage and slammed him, he would have went to prison for that.
Yep. So this guy was told by the courts that you cannot discuss the fact that about this, the fact that you won't let your daughter, transition to a boy, and they put him in jail because he talked about it because he felt he was getting railroaded.
Wow.
The High Court ordered the dad not to stand in the way of the 15-year-old's hormone therapy and to try and better understand gender dysphoria, the outlet reported. He was also told to stop speaking about it to the media in the case and warned that his public attempts to undermine his child's wishes was a form of family violence, according to the article.
What's this? Got to be California.
And changed his name at age 12 before pursuing hormone therapy with support of the mother.
The mother's a psycho.
There you go.
She's a psycho.
Yeah.
Is this California?
What state?
No, Montana, John. Montana.
Montana's not a liberal.
Happening everywhere.
They must be in a liberal town, John. That's why. They must be in a town with a savage DA and all that.
And hold on, guys. This starts in the school. This starts in the school. They indoctrinate your child in the school.
One lane of charge.
I'm sure if the mother wasn't on board with what's going on, then they probably would have had a problem. But I think because the parents were both not on the same page, that's why they got involved. So
it's the DA's.
It's a girl that wants to be a boy.
That guy.
Is that it?
Yeah, she wanted to be a boy.
There's a whole division of psychiatric care.
At 11 years old? It doesn't matter. Look, either you're a lesbian or you're gay. Either one, stay that way.
If you're not sure what sex you are, we'll send you for a weekend with George. He'll brainwash you.
I'll cure you right away.
You know what's sad about this, Dave, is that nobody's talking about what their sex life is going to be like. It's like I think that they actually think that they're going to be able to have this, fantastic sex life once they transition. And then they realize that they're actually their sex change prevents them to have sex the way it should properly be. You lose that. You never get it back. If you're a man and you cut
if you're a man to a woman, yeah, you lose that.
Any doctor that does this.
George, let Amin finish.
If you have a fake penis made, it doesn't work. You have to constantly go back to the doctor. It's not like you can take a Viagra or something. It's a totally fake thing that's been made. It's not even real. It doesn't look right. It doesn't appear the way that it should. And then you're supposed to present yourself now as this person that made this change and be confident about this. This is why the suicide rate is so high, because afterward they find themselves in an even more lonelier place. Yeah. And what we need to do is we need to have real psychiatric care to talk to these people and assess the reason why they're feeling like this. Is there something going on at home? Are you being triggered? What's the reason behind it? And address that instead of giving them first off the bat, they give you the antidepressants. And then with the antidepressants, then they give you Adderall. And then it starts to become like a conglomeration of pharmaceutical drugs that lead you to believe more as if you need to transition, you become more uncomfortable in your own skin the more these drugs, psychiatric drugs that you start to take. So I think the whole approach needs to change, and I hope that it does.
You're right, but their mantra is my sexuality and my sexual identity are two different things. Do you understand? Most of these girls, and listen to what I'm going to tell you, when they transgender, like let's say that little girl transgenders, right, and she becomes a boy, she dates other girls still. Sometimes it's a lesbian thing, or whatever. They still stuck, or even likes guys. It's a crazy, crazy thing. Their sexual identity and their sexuality, this is their mantra, are two different things. So they're screwed up in the head. And I agree with everything you just said, Armand. I agree with you. You're 100% right. But the parents are complicit today because you got to shit your pants trying to, discipline or help your own kid because the school will freaking call the cops on you, and that's what happens.
So in this particular case in Montana, I believe what happened was was that the mother started getting the child into psychiatric help for transitioning at 5 years old.
Oh my God.
At 5 years old. So when parents split up and then the one parent wants to alienate the child from the other parent, they use this method to be able to alienate one parent from the other. And then the other parent will bond with the parent that accepts this transition and also helps with the transition.
Yeah, the women do it. The women.
Not necessarily, but yes, more often than not.
Jazz was doing it at 2 years old, was already transitioned.
I want to switch. All right, I want to switch gears for 1 minute for our last topic of the day. I wanted to ask you guys. We can go around the horn because I got this question and I was thinking about it. I was trying to come up with an answer. So maybe you guys can give me your opinion, and then I'll give you my answer. Who in today's bodybuilding world, of people who are actually actively competing, would you consider like the biggest freak out there right now? Like the biggest, like holy mackerel,
Nick
off the
Walker.
charts.
Nick
It's
Walker.
hard. What you want to go first, Tom?
Okay.
Yeah, Nick Walker.
Okay. What about you, Larry?
I would agree with Nick Walker, but I think Hottie comes pretty close.
Okay.
I mean, just Nick Walker's overall size is freaky. His arms are so big, but overall, I mean, Hottie's got everything from top to bottom, back and front, and shredded.
Right, but if you walked into a gym and saw Hottie Chupa, would you be, freaked out?
Well, I just interviewed Derek Lunsford in person, and honestly, in clothes, he didn't look very big.
I don't think that Derek Lunsford is the most freaky looking guy. I think he's a great bodybuilder.
I'm just saying, he's covered up in clothes.
I'm talking about freaks. Who's the biggest freak on the circuit right now?
Well, even Nick Walker, honestly, in person, he didn't look that big to me when he's in competition shows.
Who do you think then?
It has to be someone like, I would guess, what's his name? Shoot, I just drew a blank.
Maxilla.
The big black guy that's third in the Olympia.
Samson. Yeah.
Samson Doodle.
Just because he's so tall and wide,
Yeah.
just it takes up more space.
Yeah.
Right. In person, he's going to look freakier because he's just huge.
All right. I
have to agree with that. It's Samson, because of his stature, is the potential to be the biggest person out there. Right now, though, if I saw them without their shirts on, I would say Nick Walker has the most dense muscle on his body right now, more than any other bodybuilder. But wow factor would probably be Samson because of his height and bone structure.
Armand?
I grew up watching Ronnie Coleman train as soon as I started working out in the gym. So it's hard to look at today. But today, I would say Nexzilla. I saw a picture of him the other day by Chris Cormier. I know Chris Cormier is retired and all that, but just to get an idea of how massive this guy is, when he gets in shape, it's going to be freaky. I think like another kind of Ronnie Coleman type physique. But really, I'm not really impressed with. I've seen all these guys in person. I'm not really that impressive.
Yeah.
Compared to what I've seen, what I grew up with. I would say Nexzilla.
Greg?
I would have to say Nick Walker, but no comparison to the greatest freak ever was Victor Richards. There's no comparison. I don't give a shit. You're talking in 1981, Victor Richards' shoulders were 6 feet wide. His legs, if you cut him sideways like this, are round as a 45-pound plate. He had that kind of muscle back then. We had 23-inch arms just walking around. And I still think that, I see Nick Walker and I see that Nexzilla dude. He's pretty badass too, though. So I kind of agree with Armand. Nick Walker's amazing, but there's nobody like Victor Richards ever. None of these guys, you see this guy right here, right? That's Nexzilla, right?
Yeah.
That's nothing compared. If I took you, Dave, you've seen, look at that. If you've seen.
We're not talking about in the past. I'm talking about now. I'm asking you right now. Who's
right
the
now, I have
guy?
to go with Nick Walker. This guy's super big too, though. But I take Nick Walker.
Not dense, is ripped and shredded.
He's got crazy legs, though, too.
You see those legs? You think that's.
Richards used to bug me for fucking Nubain so much.
And now he's going to sue you. Now he's going to sue you.
It's true. He can't. Other people know it. He can sue me.
Who?
I don't have anything.
Victor Richards.
Listen, Victor Richards was twice that guy. So I'm sorry. And that
Vic Richards saw Big Rod. He was like, Big Rod was bigger than Vic.
Listen, if you would
What about you, George?
that juice today to Victor Richards, forget about it.
I'm going to go with the American, Nick Walker.
That a boy, George.
Well, what do you want me to tell you? I mean, I'm
Yeah.
going to root for I'm not that I don't like the other guys, but I'm going to root for
Derek's American
the
too.
guy in my country.
I got to give you my pick. My pick is Jay Cutler.
Stay Trace.
Comeback? Jay, right on.
I'm just breaking Greg's balls, but
Wait, Dave, Lee broke with Lee, right? Lee broke Dave's balls so bad at the end of the show. Dave goes, "I'm cutting my throat. I swear to God, I'm cutting my throat like this."
you know how many people asked? Greg, you know how many people asked me if that was real?
What?
Like really close friends. They're like, "Is that real?" I said,
"We're breaking balls.
Real." What?
We're all friends. We're just breaking balls.
People because we play it up. We don't crack a smile. We play it like so close to the.
We're fooling around. We're fooling
people
around.
think that we're serious. You know, they really think we're serious.
No, Lee loves you. We all love each other. It's so bullshit.
Yeah, but Jay says Lee was the biggest freak ever back in the day.
I love Lee.
He was a big freak, yeah. But I think if you want to be considered, at least in my estimation, like one of the biggest freaks, you got to have some. And this is no offense to Lee. Lee was freaky because he was, he had those crazy arms and everything like that, the quads. But the height is more impressive. Like Kovacs didn't have a great physique for bodybuilding in terms of
he was a monster,
but he was a freak. Ronnie Coleman was probably the biggest freak of all time. I mean, I don't think there's anyone.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
Not only did he have the muscle, but he had the shape to go with it. I mean.
Dave, who's that guy you interviewed? You interviewed some European guy. He couldn't understand you. He'd be like, "What?" Like when it was a white dude, bro. You interviewed him at the last show that you did. He was tall. He had these big arms, bro. He was a monster.
Which guy?
Dude, you remember
Michael Crizzo. Yeah, Michael Crizzo.
Yeah, that guy. Or whatever. You were interviewing him.
I was going to say when I gave an answer, I was going to say I think it's between Crizzo and Rubio Mascara, which is Nexzilla. I think those two guys. Are
who was that Iranian dude that couldn't get the visa that was freaking gigantic?
Right?
Beirut.
Yeah.
Beirut. Yeah, Beirut. Yeah. Tabani.
Yeah, he's shredded. He just shredded everywhere.
That's Crizzo, yeah. But
he's a big dude though. When he stood next to Dave looked like a dot.
He's a freak.
It's weird that he has no glutes at all, like zero glutes.
Yeah, he has striated glutes. They're just not big. You know what you guys got to see? If you haven't seen on Netflix, they have a documentary now on Andre the Giant. Oh, very well done. They got everyone in it. Vince McMahon's in it. They got Hulk Hogan in it. It's a great documentary they did. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. Lee, did you see that? Lee, did you see the Andre the Giant documentary?
That's my mother-in-law, Andre the Giant. She's 11, 350 pounds.
Dave, there was a story about Andre.
4'8", right?
They picked him. One of the guys picked him up from the airport.
Hold on. Wait a second. What were you saying to me?
He drank 48 cans of beer on a ride to the hotel. Okay, and he had to pick him up in a cargo van. He had to sit in a
Rob Reiner.
Yeah,
you know Rob Reiner, the actor. Rob Reiner did the movie The Princess Bride, and The Princess Bride. They said there was a giant in there, and the guy who wrote the book actually wrote it with Andre in mind. So they got Andre to play the giant in the movie. Everyone loved him. And they said Rob Reiner said he would routinely, before they started shooting, he would drink 6 bottles of wine and he would drink, like 24 cans of beer over the course of the day.
No problem. Yeah.
And he wasn't even drunk. And Rob Reiner said, "Are you drunk?" He goes, "Only a little bit. Yeah. Because he weighed like 550 pounds,
Dave, do you have the picture of Andre holding the can of beer? That the can of beer it's this big. It's this big and small.
I don't know if you know, but the what's her name? Who was married to Sean Penn? That what's her name?
Madonna?
No, after her. Robin Wright. Robin Wright. Remember the actress? Robin Wright Penn. She was married to Sean. She was in the movie. She was a young girl in Princess Bride, and she said that it was freezing outside. They were filming, and she was so cold. And Andre came over and put his hand on her head. He said, and his hand was so big, that it covered her entire head and it kept it warm. That's.
Do you know what has a hand like that? Mark Henry. Holy shit.
Oh, really?
Oh my God! I know Mark. I went to a strip club. Dude, that freaky kid's hand is this big. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Mark Henry's huge too, but he's not a giant like Andre was.
No, but he got hands on him.
Everyone in the WWE was afraid of Andre the Giant. I don't know if you knew.
Hogan said twice the size of Hulk Hogan.
Hogan said that there was not a single guy. He said, as a matter of fact, if you took the 3 toughest guys in the WWE, they couldn't take Andre. That's how strong he was. So everyone was petrified of him. So when finally Vince talked, Andre was ready to retire and go off into the sunset. And Vince talked him to come back to WrestleMania 3, where he's going to wrestle Hulk Hogan for the title. Right. Andre the Giant had never lost a match ever. Right. Yeah. And they were billing this thing as like Hogan was going to take over the reins and he was going to be the new guy. But no one was sure. No one was sure if Andre was going to let Hogan beat him. So even up until the day of the match, Hogan was like going, "Hey, big guy, what are we going to do?" He goes, "Don't worry, I tell you during the match." So Hogan, I didn't know if I was supposed to win or not, and Vince didn't tell me. And during the match, Andre said, do this, do that, do this, and then he knew that Andre was going to let
Hogan actually body slammed him in that.
Yeah, well, they choreographed it, but he said.
He had to jump, I think.
Andre wouldn't tell him until they were in the ring, and then he's like, "Lift me up, do the leg drop, And Hogan said when I leg dropped him at the end and then pinned him, I thought he was going to push his way out, but he didn't, and then he let Hogan beat him. But
Mark Henry was at my chiropractor's office 2 months ago, and he was sitting across from me. I was like, "Man, this guy looks so familiar." He's in his 50s now, and I'm like, and then when I saw my chiropractor, he adjusts a lot of rappers when they come to town, like celebrities, people. Right. And he's like, "Yeah, it's Mark Henry." I was like, "Oh wow, he's a little out of shape now, but he's still massive." But
massive. You think he's natural, John?
Who?
Mark Henry.
It says he is.
Yeah, absolutely, he was.
I think so.
Yeah, he always said he was. He competed in the Olympics.
Yeah, he's a different kind of person.
He's a freak.
He don't look like he's.
It's really funny when you come up with that question regarding certain people. It's
because I want to know what people think.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
It's like in basketball.
Oh, Keith.
You got Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, whomever you think is like the absolute best. No one ever accuses them of taking anything. Okay. Right. But you get in our world, no matter who you are, if you're a little bit bigger than everybody else, it's drugs. It's all drugs. It's drugs.
People take drugs in our industry. That's why.
I know, but to the point that the outlier is eliminated. There's no outlier. No. We have no outliers. Michael Hearn is not an outlier.
Yeah, but Mark
Hearn is not an outlier. They have to be doing drugs. And
I believe Michael Hearn's natural. I do. And Lee Priest sunk it home for me because
no one's asking you. Let John finish.
He told me he's natural.
My thing is the outliers are in all sports, including ours. So when you got guys like Mark Henry, Michael Hearn, whomever else who insist they don't take drugs, Lee Priest said he barely took any. Paul Dillette hardly did any. In the process, no one believes them. No one believes them because they can't imagine we have outliers. Impossible. Right. But hockey has outliers, baseball has outliers, basketball has outliers, wrestlers have outliers, football players have outliers, not bodybuilding. No, can't have an outlier in bodybuilding. Doesn't happen.
Right. We have outliers, if you know what I mean.
Hey, Greg, do you think Hank Aaron ever took anabolics?
No. First of all, Hank Aaron had almost 5,000 more bats than Babe Ruth did. So God bless him for hitting that home run. Yeah. And I thought Willie Mays would have broke it before Hank Aaron, but Willie Mays started going down faster. Yeah. I'm not a big Hank Aaron fan. I think there were a lot of guys better than him, but But I got to tell you something. Lee Priest gave a good argument the other day. He was saying, I've known Michael Hearn 20 years because he remembers more than 20 years, but he said 20 years ago he still looked the same as he does now, which is, muscle mature. So he's and he's not jacked. I don't know why these guys all think he's not like this huge monster guy. He's a big, tall guy. So his muscles, he's big, but he's not like super jacked. And with shirts on, he looks like a real muscular guy, but he doesn't look like a monster. So, I always thought I'm good friends with Mona. Okay. I know Mona before Michael Hearn knew her. Mona Morrison. Okay. She's a great girl. And they all say he's natural. Bob Bonham told me, oh, no, he's natural. I swear to God, he knew him really well. I know guys, they cringe, but you know what the biggest thing is? What do you give a shit what anybody else does? Who cares?
Because Greg, you know why? Because people have to justify why someone looks so good.
That's what John Romano was
about themselves to think that.
Yeah, but who cares? You know what I'm saying?
They don't care because they're jealous. They're jealous of Michael Hearn. He's a good-looking guy. He's got a great physique. So they got to attribute it to something.
Michael Hearn has been working out for 40 plus 50 years.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever missed a workout. I don't think he's ever missed a meal. He's the anomaly. I don't think people don't, guys take steroids and we go off and then we won't train or we'll be lazy, whatever. It's not the same. This man, his workmanship, just the way that he did everything, it was just so to a T his whole life. I don't know. I think he looks better now than he ever has. Dude, I'm really surprised how strong he is now at his age.
Muscle maturity, too. Dude, I got a striated ass. I haven't done squats in 30-something years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
my ass.
We know what you do with your ass. That's the problem, Greg.
Well, Lee pounded me in the ass.
You do a lot of enemas up there.
Bro.
Dude.
I think taking enemas are like doing synthol in the muscle. It causes it to
You're addicted to those now? Is that what it is?
I think, from now on, if these girls want big glutes, Greg, we should just get them on enemas, right?
Dude, I'll drink the water as it's coming out of the like a waterfall.
What the fuck just happened? How did we go off topic to drinking ass enema?
Dude, Jamie Eason's ass. Jamie Eason?
I'm thirsty. I don't even want to drink this.
Jamie Eason's ass. Go Google Jamie Eason. Look at that can.
We know.
We know.
Ham in the can. Now, Dave, I want to bring up something. Dave, I want to bring up one thing that's controversial, and I'm not trying to piss you off with this.
What?
But I watched a show the other day with Chris Angel, and he said anybody that tells you that they can talk to the dead is full of shit. That's what he said.
Yeah, no, I know. He's you know why? Because Chris Angel's a very big Harry Houdini disciple.
Yes.
He loved Houdini. That was he actually owns a lot of magic tricks that Houdini had, like collectibles. And
Hey, tell him. We were talking about this before.
And Houdini was against psychics because he always tried to connect with his mother who died, and there was a lot of charlatans of that during that time period. And so Chris believes what Houdini did. I really believe that wholeheartedly. I think he's been completely brainwashed by the whole Houdini thing.
I don't know, but he's willing to spend $1 million for somebody to prove it. He said, I'll give you a safe word or whatever, you can
believe. Yeah, believe.
I did the safe word with my sister, and it worked. When I was under surgery, I talked about that. So,
hey, your sister's amazing, Dave. A lot of people are asking a lot of questions on the board. I'll give you an answer. She told me.
She's not single.
No, she told me. She told me, and I'm smiling for a reason, guys.
Yeah. You know what? The great thing about that type of gift is that it's not important that everyone believes. It's the people who need to believe and want to believe that they will, and that's it. And that's what's great about life, because there's so many different theories and so many different incredible things in this world. Some people are attracted to this, some people are attracted to that, some people meet in the middle somewhere. And that's what makes the world turn. If everyone liked the same thing, we'd be in trouble, right? Because no one would want to, build bridges, and no one would want to, do plumbing, and no one would want to do electricity, and no one would want to be a professional baseball. So it's good that everyone has different interests and believes different things, because it keeps the world that much more.
Mr. G is attracted to America. Mr. G is attracted to the American flag.
There you go.
My dad was in Korea.
We all need a little bit of that.
My grandfather was in World War II. So
all right. Well, we're going to wrap up for today. Put in the comments below who you think is the freakiest bodybuilder currently competing on the IFBB Pro Circuit, and we'll talk about it next week. All the results. Actually, you know what, Sid? Why don't you run a poll or something like that? Let's see if we can.
Sid, can we say a little? Hey, Sid. I love Sid.
So we got Nexzilla.
Nexzilla, we
Nexzilla.
got Samson was up there, right?
Nick Walker.
Nick Walker. Who else did I say? I can't remember.
Michael
Crizo.
Belarus was in there.
Brian Shaw.
And that just means you walk in on the person like just training or posing, just like,
Yes,
oh,
you're
what
like,
is this?
holy
You got to put Blessing in there because from the back he looks like
No.
I mean,
It's
Kyle
not like,
Breeze
whoa. It's not
probably
like a
would
whoa.
qualify as one of the freakiest guys out there. He's not competing, but he still looks like a freak, you know. So if you
I'm talking about, I think the next Zilla, you walk in on him like training.
Yeah, Hassan Mustafa. That's right, Lee. That's a good one too. He's a freak too. Yeah, his legs are insane. Yeah, I forgot about him. So, all right, we'll put it in the comments below. Right now, we're out of time. Thanks for joining us live. As always, we'll be back again next week with the Whack Pack.